Hello, scholars, and welcome to Math with Mr. Ray. Um, so this lesson is missing information with percentage problems. I think this is like one of the most important lessons because there's going to be a lot on the state test with this, a lot. You'll be seeing percentage problems literally a lot. And so understanding it is really going to help you, right? So let's look at the criteria for success. I know I will solve for missing information with percent problems correctly when I identify what 100% of the value is, and if it's what you know or is what you have to find, right? A total is a total. You know if you're given a total, you know if you're not given a total. And so you just have to be able to discern what that means, right? You also have to match the quantities with its corresponding percentages in a representation table, tape diagram, or double number line. And today I'm going to be looking at multiple of those things to try to help you understand it. Then you have to label each part with your representation with your quantities you find by doing the math and respond to the question it asks, right? If it says, what's 25% of 100, you say 25, right? Or like, uh, there are 100 apples. What is 25%? And you say 25, that's not necessarily correct because 25 can mean multiple things. So you would say that that is 25 apples, right? Also, what you need to know is your benchmark fractions. Like, I can't stress how important this is for you because when you're dividing or you're multiplying, these could really help you, right? So let's get started here. What are these fractions and equivalents to these percentages? So as we know, 10% is 10 out of 100, right? But the greatest common factor between 10 and 100 is 10. So technically 10% is 1/10, right? And if 10% is 1/10, 20% is 2/10. This one is a little different. But what makes this so interesting is because this is a quarter. 25% is like 25 cents. And 25% is 25 over 100. 25 is the greatest common factor between 100 and 25, but 25 goes into 25 one time and 25 goes into 100 four times. So 25% is 1/4, like 1/4 out of 4 quarters. So far we have 1/10, 2/10, 1/4, 2/10. So you know that's going to be 3/10. You know that's going to be 4/10. Here, this is 5/10, but it's also 2/4, right? It's also yeah, it's also 2/4 because it's half of 100. That's 6/10. This is 3/4, right? Um, this is um 8/10, and this is 1/2. Now look at this. 2/10 also equals 1/5, right? 4/10 equals 2/5 because 10 goes into like, so basically it's basically saying like 40% is 40 out of 100. The greatest common factor between 40 and 100 is 40, but another common factor, well, 40 and 100 is 20. And 20 goes into 42 times, and 20 goes into 100 5 times, right? So this is 1/2, right? And so this is why it's really important because to find a percentage of a number, now this is what I want you to write down. To find a percentage of a number, oh, really quickly, 8/10 would be 4/5, right? To find a percentage of a number, convert percentage into fraction or decimal and multiply by total, right? It's saying what's 20% of 480? Clearly 480 represents 100%. right? You understand that? Now, we can look at this multiple ways. I like to start off with trying to understand my work by like creating the equivalent ratio. We're talking about 20%. Any percentage is over 100. So 20% is 20 over 100. And we're trying to find 20% of 480. We know 100% is 480, right? To get from 100 to, and this is another thing, like you can look at equivalent ratios multiple times. Like to get from 100 to 480 is multiply 100 times 4.8, right? So to find this answer, you can multiply 20 times 4.8. But an easy way to say, like, to get from 100 to 20 is to divide by 5. And 48 divided by 5, right? So that's 9. Okay, 96. So that's one way to look at it. You can create an equivalent ratio. I like this way best because this shows like a really great concept, right? You know what the percentage is, you know what the fraction is. Now let's look at this CFS. It says to find a percentage of a number, convert the percentage into a fraction. 20% is multiple fractions. It is 20 over 100, or it is 1/5, right? And then multiply that by the total, which is 480, and every whole number is over 1. And what happens is 1 times 480 is 480, and 480 divided by 5. Look, I just did that. Do you see how this two connects? 480 is divided by 5. 5 goes into 48 9 times, that's 45, and then you bring down the 30, and that's 96, and thus you know your answer. Another way to do it is turn the percentage into a decimal. 20 hundredths means the 20 ends in the hundredths place, times the total, and then you could just use your calculator. 0.20 times 48 is 96. So we just looked at it multiple ways, okay? 75%. We know 75% is 3/4 times your total, 240 over 1. 3 times 240 is 3 times 24 tenths, and 3 times 24, 48. Is 72 tenths, which is 72 tens, right? 720 divided by 4. Simple. 720 divided by 4. 4 goes into 7 one time. 4, 32, 8, 32, 0, 0. Oh, this is a lot. Another thing. If this says a 0 here, you got to keep going, right? 0, bring down the 0. After you pull down your shade, you divide. 4 goes into 0, 0 times. So 75% of 240 equals 180. You can also say 75% equals 75 hundredths. Do you see how I moved that over 2 times? Times the total 240. Just gotta get my calculator so you can see it, because I want you to be able to look at it multiple ways. I always want you to be able to understand this multiple ways. It's very important. Calculator. 0.75 times 240. 180. Look at that. Boom. 180. So we looked at it multiple times, multiple ways. The answer is 180. This is cool because you already know that 50% is 1/2. So basically saying, what is 1/2 of 1200? Well, what is 1/2 of 12? That's 6. And then bring those 2 down. You see how you could just use mental math to figure it out? That's why understanding fractions really, really help you. 50% means 1/2. So finding 1/2 of anything is dividing it by 2, right? Now, That is extremely important because that's I would say like that's the easy part, but it's the foundation, right? Understanding percentages, understanding fractions, that's the foundation. What's tough is like understanding what's happening, right? Elena biked 8 miles on Saturday. Okay, cool. Use a double number line to answer the question. So, like, what is 8 miles, right? So, if I eat a pizza pie, what percentage of the pizza pie did I eat? I ate 100% of the pizza pie. That's it. Did I eat more than one pizza pie? Did I eat less than? No, I ate one pizza pie. Elena biked 8 miles. Did she bike more than 8 miles? Did she bike less than 8 miles? No. So she biked 8 miles. Thus, 8 miles represents 100%. Do you understand that? So I know because that's the total distance. 8 miles represents 100% because that's the total distance, right? Now, on Sunday, she bikes 75% of that distance, right? So here it is. If 100% of the distance is 8 miles, what is 75%? Is that all of it? For example, I ate a large pie. That's 100% of the pie. On the next day, I ate 75% of the pie. Did I eat the whole pie? No, I ate a portion of it. What fraction of it did I eat? Oh, 3/4 times 8/1. 3 times 8 is 24. 24 divided by 4 equals 6. Do you see how like understanding fractions really helped me? But also looking at this table. If I know 100%, I could easily find 25% because to get from 100 to 25 is to divide by 4. And when I do on one side, I could do on the other side. And if I divided 8 by 4, I get 2. So that means for every 25%, you're going 2 miles. So 2, 4, 6, 8. It's a pattern. At this point, it's a pattern now. 125, 10, 12. Do you see how like once you can determine one part of the pattern, you can just keep going and keep going and keep going. But the pattern has to be like a constant increase on both sides. All right. For every 2 miles, it's 25%. So like, right? So as you add 2, you add another 25%. And 6 miles, right? On Monday, she biked 125% of that distance. How far was that? Well, we can go ahead and go to the table now. 125%, that's 10 miles. Here's another way to look at it. We know 125% is 1 and 1/4. How do I know that? I know that 100% is one whole. I know 25% is 1/4. And I'm multiplying that by the total, right? I can convert this into an improper fraction. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5/4. 5/4 times 8, every whole number is over 1. 5 times 8 is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10. Look at that, 10 miles. Do you see that? Do you see how fraction understanding can really help you? But you can also just say like 0.75 times 8. 125%, you have to move the decimal place 2 points. So that's 1.25 times 8. That'll give you 10. Okay? Let's look at this one. Jada has a new puppy that weighs 9 pounds. Okay, that's good information. But the vet says that the puppy is now at 20%. So, like, clearly 9 pounds represents 20%, right? Of its adult weight. What percentage would the adult weight be? Well, that's 100% because it's basically comparing a child to an adult. And, like, when I was a child, I know I wasn't my full potential, but as an adult, I am my full potential. So that's what it's saying, the total. So, but we could just go ahead and we know that there's a multiplicative relationship between 20 and 100. How do you get from 20 to 100? And you can do the same thing on the other side, right? You can also know that 9 equals 20%. And every number is a percentage over 100. If 9 is 20, to get from 20 to this, it's times 5. Boom. right? There are so many different ways to look at this. You can also look at a table. You're comparing percentage to weight. We know 20% is 9 pounds. You're trying to find 100%. You don't need a space because there is a multiplicative relationship between 20 and 100, right? The middle school basketball team has had several practices this week. During a basketball practice, Maya attempted 40 free throws. I love when they say certain words like this, attempted, right? That means she took 40 shots, right? And successful. Successful means it was, you made something, something happened, like something was good, right? Basically, it's saying she took 40 free throws, but she only shot 25% of them correct. So now we're trying to figure that out. So we know that 40 free throws is the total because that's how many she attempted. And the total represents 100%. But she successfully shot 25% of them. So I'm not going to put 25 here. I'm going to put 25 here. Since there's a multiplicative relationship between 25 and 100, I can just multiply that by 4. You see, there's no multiplicative relationship between these two, which is why I would need a friendly factor of 20, right? But I'm not going to do that. I don't need that. So just to get from 25 to 100 is times 4, but clearly we're going up. So we got to go from 100 to 25, which is not going to be times, it's divided by 4. And 40 divided by 4 is 10. I want to see if you can figure out another way. I hope you're really paying attention to this video because I'm going to ask you, like, what's another way to solve it? What do you know? How do you know that this is the answer? Now, right here, yesterday, Priya successfully made 12 free throws. So yesterday, and see how this is tricky because it says yesterday she made 12 free throws. Did she make more than 12? Did she make less than 12? No, 12 represents the total, which is 100%. So yesterday she made 12 free throws. Today, she made 100% as many as that. So if 12 is 100%, is 150% going to be more or less? Clearly it's more. So what we need to figure out is, what is 150% if 100 is 12? Well, I can use logic to realize, like, if 100% is 12, then I know 6 is 50%. And I know if 6 is 50%, 50 times 3 is 100, and 6 times 3 is 18. So I know she made 18 free throws. Do you understand that? I just use pure logic, right? 100% is a total. There are 12 free throws. Half of that is 50%. Half of 12 is 6. But I'm not trying to find 6. I'm trying to find 150. I know it's 50 times 3 is 150. So I can just multiply 6, which is 50%, times 3 to get 18. Okay? A loaf of bread costs $5 today. That's the same size loaf cost 50 cents in 1955. Oh my God. What percentage of today's price does somebody pay for bread? Wow. So you're looking at multiple things. You're looking at cents to dollars. We know that 50 cents, first you got to figure out, like, okay, so at one point, 50 cents was 100%, right? But now it's $5. How do you get from 50 cents to $5? Well, I know that 50 cents times 2 is $1, right? Times 4 is $2. Times 6 is $3. Times 8 is $4. Times 10 is $5. And 100% times 10 is added another place value. What? So what that's telling me is that, like, What percentage of today's price did someone pay in 1955? Today, we are paying 1,000% the price of what bread would cost. That is crazy. That is wild. A job pays $10 an hour today. If the same percentage, see, what is that talking about? If the same percentage, we're talking about this percentage, right? How much would that job have paid in 1955? Ooh. So basically, you're saying like, what's 1,000%? Well, it's not what's 1,000%. We're saying like 10%, $10 equals 1,000%. What is 100%? 1,000 divided by 10 is 100. So 10 divided by 10. Oh my gosh. So basically saying like at the rate of 1,000% in today's time, if I'm making $10 an hour today, 1,000% less means that they were making $1 an hour. That is crazy. Yeah. Each of each of three friends, each of three friends, right? So it's Lynn, Jada, and Andre. They had a goal of raising $40. I love when they talk about goals of something. So because like they had a goal of $40, $40 is the total. That is 100%. That can help you so much. How much money did each person raise? So Lynn raised 100% of the goal. Child, Lynn raised $40. Jada raised 50% of the goal. Well, if 100 is 40, 50% of 40 is 20. Andre raised 150% of his goal. Well, if 50% is 20 and 100% is 40, then what do you think 150% is? Logically, what do you think? Right? I did enough. I want to see what you can do with this one. Okay? We went through so much. The opening night of a new movie, a local music theater sold 612 tickets and filled 90% of the seats. So at 612 tickets, that represented 90%. How many seats are in the movie theater? If 90% represents 612, what do you think we're looking for? Okay. All right.